Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting and amazing Propagandacast from your host Imperial Lane, the one and only master propaganda hero, like defender of the fatherland. Off to glorious 1v1 here on Langres. In the south it is Theodosios, the man, not the emperor, fighting here for the German army, Deutschland. Sending forth the 8 triple pioneer opening to rush the Allied lines here with Mechanized as well. Selected, 2 thumbs up there. Striking hard and fast with the 26th Panzer Division. 3rd Panzer Grenadier Company against Akkerman, fighting for the British Empire. Champion of the King. Setting forth here with the 6th Armour Division. We stand ready here to observe all that's about to happen. Pioneers heading out in a variety of directions here. Quick and fast capture speed in. Again, this is typically why you see triple pioneer openings. You just grab as much points and then try to hold on to some of it, because your Grenadier is simply not going to do enough, and your MD42 similarly is just not quite cutting it either. So, sappers busy in the east and the west. Akkerman taking a slightly more relaxed approach because he knows his sappers are going to beat up the pioneers in most engagements.
Grenadiers assembled.
And even can beat Grenadiers if, like, they get a good drop on them. We've got Grenadiers moving forwards here for Theodosios. Very aggressive capture. They're rushing the fuel pump, also capturing the other points here. Thumbs up to Theodosios. Eastern fuel being seized here. Looking to get as many fuel points as fast as possible. Obviously makes a fantastic amount of sense. We can also see Theodosios preparing battlefield ahead of time. Sandbags, barbed wire. Need to gain every edge in every engagement you can get. No matter how small or minuscule it may be. Theodosios will leave no stone unturned. No sand unbagged. There you go. First engagement, sabotage of the pioneers. Obviously here, the pioneers are not really going to be able to buy themselves a lot of time, because they can just walk up and just beat the stuffing out of them. But, for a future engagement here, in theory, it could help once it gets the wire dealt with. There you go. The pioneer squad push back. He's already here. Ackerman striking hard as soon as he makes contact with the Germans. German force there melting away as though they were actually Italian.
The men are ready.
Grenadiers coordinating for a counterattack here versus Akkerman's left flank, causing the east flank now open to the sappers of perfidious Albion. Got the section withdrawing. Here's the Grenadiers close in. Back here, pioneers sending out as soon as they can here. Of course, for the sections of the building, that forces Theodosios to reconsider what's going to do there, because it's not exactly a super ideal building to fight infantry within, because it's not got a lot of windows on any sides, but at the same time, it can still be enough to just keep the Grenadiers occupied. So Theodosios, he's shifting eastwards here. Instead, using the fact he's holding the building here to make gains there. 3rd Grenadiers go Theodosios, a 3rd section for Akkerman. Goes in with the infantry with a cannon to keep Akkerman after pioneer swing from the other side. West side section there. Just hang about there. They've been enjoying something nice they found in the cellar. Now can switch on to the sappers in the east. Still not too shabby an opening here out of Akkerman. It's also worth noting, we have 3 minutes of the game. There's been actually a fair amount of shooting, but yet a single casualty is yet to happen. Which feels honestly a bit odd. Using all the rifle shots you can fight there. West side punishment, the sappers still defending it, blocking it, meaning making relatively. There you go. In the end, it is Theodosios gets the first casualty, first blood scored by the Germans here, the 3rd Panzer Grenadier Company. So typically 8 for a Panzer Grenadier Battalion. First 4 of the 1st Battalion of the 1st Regiment, typically also in armoured half-tracks. And then, like, the first 3 were Panzer Grenadier units. The 4th company was typically a heavy weapons company with machine guns and some mortars. Fun little fact there. Panzer Grenadier Company, Theodosios. Akkerman, he actually did get up the platoon command post. I was just so caught up in talking about the wonders of German organization. I know, absolutely, sexy stuff that is bound to get any woman your attention. But sappers of the Grenadiers getting focused down here. Good push with Theodosios. Definitely blindsiding here. Akkerman a bit here. About to get a wipe here on the sappers. And also about, at least once this video goes up, less than a week away from the next patch. We'll have to go see what they're gonna put into it in terms of balance changes.
We await commands.
They're also talking new cosmetics. My suspicion is going to be the rest of the 4 leaf skins for the Wehrmacht. But maybe they have a surprise there. Reiki package here ready for Akkerman, who's gone for heavy armor. Certainly pose some problems there for Theodosios, depending on how long that goes, but could also present opportunities. And Mechanized there. I feel like there's been sort of a surge in Akkerman, so the, 8th Red.
And 251 crews shall be trained to act as
Humber on the way there,
propaganda
Pack 40 almost done. He actually goes for self-repairs first. Interesting, so definitely a half-track of things being planned here with Theodosios.
crew are ready for orders.
Just back the question, I just want to go for the heavy armor casters, do D's or something else. We do get the 251 half-track on the way for Theodosios, the Mitra, Schutz, and Panzerwagen. I believe actually the heavy weapons companies similarly also had access to a few Stummels there of the 3rd Battalion. Actually had a fair amount of heavier weapons there, sort of more self-propelled from the more motorized Panzer Grenadier units. Oh my! 2 squads at the same time, hit a mine, 4 Grenadiers down, 1 mine. That is fantastic value for Akkerman. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I'm sure he is happy as can be.
Territory sector
4 Germans hit the mine, now they're gone and I can laugh. La la la. Sappers are based in these sections well there. Got the Pioneers pushing these with their Humber on the hunt here for German infantry. It's autocannon and coaxial machine gun there. Jürgen there going down. Got the Pack 40, we've got the 250 and half taking the upgrade to the Stummel as expected. These are their Pioneers going for the Sappers. Humber there sort of poking a bit about here. I'm a bit unsure where he wants to go for it.
The enemy has cut us off.
Or the driver just doesn't know how to drive. Where did you learn to drive there? I didn't, sir. They just stuffed me into this thing. Oh, bloody hell. Pack 40 scores great here in the Humber. East side there, Pioneers right above the recce section. Emo Pioneers putting up a brave yet utterly futile fight against overwhelming British forces. And I'd say there's a fairly solid chance getting up to the section who's up here. But fortunately for Theodosios, Akkerman didn't think that far ahead, it seems. It was just too preoccupied with other matters, and so... Okay, to move the section up there, I think there have been a guaranteed wipe, so a bit of a miss there. Theodosios with a bunker, and that is, with almost 100% certain, going to be a medic bunker, short of him just misclicking. It's building a repair bunker, which needs some usage, or machine gun bunker, which point I imagine Theodosios is just going to need some therapy after that one.
The men are ready.
Stummel there providing some more heavier firepower there for the Grenadier. The role of the Stummel was very much like the lightest infantry machine that is directed to the fire for the infantry units. Little fun fact there. Up north here, we've got the Humber diving in here. Grenadiers about to get into trouble here with it though. Not a lot of great cover for them to hold back against the Humber. And of course here, Akkerman with 2 Humbers is committing aggressively to them. It will be interesting if he actually goes for the training. Oh, mine goes off in the Pioneers. Surprisingly, we haven't seen Theodosios go for minesweepers, which, considering, the ranking we're playing at, and the fact, his opponents already, scored one hell of a mine here. The lack of a minesweeper from Theodosios at the current moment is a bit odd. Got a Pack 40 on the way more, and we'll hit for Theodosios. Another Panzer up there, Kanone. I imagine a response in part just to the double Humbers. And then again, Theodosios really does not want to deal with them, but has to. A bit like taxes. You have to deal with them, but you really don't. But anyways, Pack 40 on there for Theodosios. Sappers charging into the Grenadiers and the Stummel. Blazer, of course, providing Akkerman crucial tactical information as he pushes in. Grenades off here. 2 Grenadiers down with a single grenade. That is pretty bloody lovely there for Akkerman. Section going for the Pioneers. Got 467 to 375. Great KD ratio there for Akkerman. Even the victory points aren't quite singing along to the same tune.
We have lost control of a victory point.
Deploy! I want the gun here. Orders? Weapon team at the ready.
Stummel there doing some slow self-repairs. Pioneers going for the western pump. We got the Humber there ready once more. Training almost done here for Akkerman. That's going to be a further promise here for Theodosios' infantry. With the recce package and the Bren gun there. That's it. There's also just the issue of the Humber armored cars, which obviously does not provide Theodosios with much, I would say, in relief. Got Bren section here with their Bren gun. Actually, again, Glasses still achieving that glorious Veterans 1. Back to see here, Akkerman start to begin leading up Theodosios' victory points to get that tiny, minuscule lead. In the East, Grenadiers is still just fighting under the cover of the flare. Which obviously makes them easy to hit, so...
Confirmed. Light vehicles
There we
can
go,
now
raid
reach enemy
package, and then
territory
swing
and
precise
capture
self-repairing can
resources.
grab points. Talk about multitasking. Ability. Section closing in. I imagine the Stummel crew isn't quite keen with all the additional tasks being given to them. They're supposed to operate this gun, conduct repairs, and act like infantry. What's next? Prepare him breakfast?
Commandant, territory sector lost.
I'm moving about here.
Park here.
Another section for Akkerman. Only going to make things tough here for Theodosios' Grenadiers. Well, tougher than it already is. And we got those pioneers again on that western field, but it seems like Theodosios really believes he can make it work, except Akkerman keeps having like a Humber just acting like, you know, sort of flank protector there all the time. Might be able to at least run the field point neutral here, but in the end, trying to retreat here. Probably figuring that if he stays around any longer than that, he risks losing the pioneers in on retreat. And Theodosios is clearly not willing to quite make that kind of sacrifice. He seems to still be more than willing to make the sacrifice of not getting a minesweeper. There you go, section sending in blast against Stummel once more at it. Another Bren gun out there for Akkerman and the British. Not most of this with the Grenadiers, but they're clearly being shot down there.
Victory point lost.
And we got Theodosios with a bit of surprise acting on for Wehrmacht Panzer Grenadiers.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
What I anticipate here, they definitely, like, you know, been more and more steadily dropping out of the Wehrmacht metagame, very much like the Wehrmacht Panzer Grenadiers in Coh3.
Panzergrenadiere have been deployed to the front.
Here we are, Panzer Grenadiers ready with their Sturmgewehre.
Victory point is under enemy control.
Let's give Theodosios another squad of infantry. Certainly a bit more oomph at certain ranges than the Grenadiers, but also the higher price tag. We might see a pioneer squad go down, yes
Our
indeed.
frontline pioneers are dead.
Theodosios suffered the wipe here.
Alarm! All victory points are under enemy control.
Brits got the triple cap now here in Theodosios, though he still has a lead. It is a shrinking one. Panzer is busy here. Sturm fighting, covering fire there with the 75mm cannon. And there we go. Akkerman suffers a wipe here. Recce section bites not just the bullet, but a lot of bullets. Akkerman, he's got a plan he's taking up, at which point he could actually withdraw both Humbers and start churning out some relatively fast tanks, which I imagine is Ackerman's game plan. Crusaders seem very likely they could surprise us with a Matilda. Does mean he may want to be a bit more careful with the Humbers. He's this close to it.
Achtrad armored cars granted and awaiting deployment.
And there we go. We do in the end get the Achtrad out of Theodosios. I might have been hoping for the Studi and Starstorm, but the Achtrad certainly does have the advantage of having 8 wheels and looking kinda neat. And being cheaper. Which I imagine is probably one of the overriding focus of Theodosios is cost. 360 for 350. Company command storm is almost pulling in again. Withdraw both Humbers here. Except for the Grenadiers finally pushed off here in the west. Theodosios finds some success. East has also seen good success. Akkerman playing, I think, more defensively as he's sort of, going towards that withdrawal here. Think of both Humbers for tanks. At least that's what I assume he's planning. Theodosios is more than happy to remove, but Akkerman it is. I mean, Theodosios could prove me wrong by just destroying the Humbers before the game becomes a problem, at which point, he kind of prove me wrong. But anyways, first Humber withdrawn there. He's withdrawing the other one, but it's going to hammer the damaged engine, so it will take a bit longer. But still, Akkerman can already go for Matilda 2, he can go for Crusader, then with the other one, probably go for a second Crusader very quickly afterwards. Both of which would absolutely be a headache and a nightmare for Theodosios to deal with. We do get Crusaders here for Akkerman. Thumbs up to that.
An 42 team is ready.
There you go. Orders have pair assembly there. Another 6-pounder here for Akkerman. The arrival of the mighty Akkerman.
Give us orders.
Clearly causing Akkerman to reconsider some of his plans here. They'll probably want to get this section upgraded. I mean, he's got plenty of munitions floating about, so he doesn't really have many excuses, I think, on that frontage. But we shall see.
Confirm. Enemy have 300 points left.
Crusader ready. Second one on the way here. Tiny about to rush down by the sappers. Sturmel achieving that veterancy too. So where will he move in that Crusader? We'll have to see. There's only a few possible attack patterns here from Mechanized. Quite devastating here versus Theodosios.
Alarm. Sector
Sturmel
overrun.
taking ahead here from the 6-pounder gun.
Enemy forces have captured a
First
victory
here,
point.
Crusader strikes, encountering pioneers and rapidly turn those pioneers were the ones that survived back to the German base. Panzergrenadiers next time here. But to learn what the Panzer name means, and it's definitely not that there are other to survive tank shots. So quick response here with Theodosios just retreats the Panzergrenadiers before they join the afterlife. Theodosios here though, moving ahead with attack. Panzer company on the way, could indicate here Panthers for being buildable is planned here for Theodosios eventually. The opposite at the same time with the Panther being, over specialized similar to Coh3. You also at the same time, need a certain amount of tanks for it to be like actually good. But of course as the Brits they go for too many Crusaders, it also risks not being too good. So there's sort of a weird like split spot for the Panthers actually playable. And then outside of that sweet spot of Crusader tanks, it's basically not that good. It's a bit weird. There, got Akkerman with armour training. Theodosios Panzer Company is looking ready here.
The enemy has claimed our territory
Shot
for
there,
their
Crusader
own.
on the west flank, holding a bit back. Crusader moving 8 to the east. Front section of the Pioneers. Panzer Company down here for Theodosios. Could go for some Starswollen. Hardened German assault truppen. Push back those verdammten Inselaffen. For now, we'll simply have to wait to see if Theodosios does follow the call of the Starswollen and call them in. 2 points wise, Theodosios still maintains pretty heel Akkerman, though Ackerman's victory point remains quite firm. Firm, not firm, but firm. In the, roughly 2-1 there. Sturmel down.
Sector lost.
Great hit there for Akkerman. A bit of a slap across the face of Theodosios. Ready to move forwards under heavy fire from British guns.
Victory point.
59, 95.
Green light for our Panzer Company to produce Panther tanks.
There we go. Buildable Panthers for Theodosios. Plenty of manpower. The problem is these Panthers need a thing called fuel or they're not going to go anywhere. That's basically Theodosios' main issue, just like the actual German army for a good part of the war. Not enough fuel. So, it does present a bit of a challenge here for Theodosios. Pentamon here with the Crusader tank, engine blown out. Now the MG42 Theodosios is suddenly going for a bunch of them here. Interesting choice, now it's up against more and more tanks. He commits to the MG42s. It's obviously going to help us the infantry and maybe in a bit to support lines, but against the actual tanks it is facing, the MG42s will notably find themselves falling quite a bit short against their armour.
MG42 and crew available.
Aim your rifle and fire! Enemy attacking!
Let's see, for now at least Akkerman still got one Crusader tank there, and he repairs the engine, certainly having seen much better days. Back on the production lines than old Blighty.
Jawohl, we hear you.
359 on the 69.
Wall, now!
Another Crusader for Akkerman.
We finished our order.
7 command points. We're not really seeing much else happening. This is a Black Prince, regular Churchill tank.
Victory point lost.
Was there some other plan here being hatched by Akkerman? Just don't know.
Grenadiers have completed the task.
Grenadier in the move. Crusader tank on halfway down here. Panzers have left more or less on to defend the flank left on their own. We do have a pack body machine. He's covering the rear there a bit, so that's something. There you go, number 69 becomes the Grenadiers. A bit of damage. He's in a wee bit of trouble. There you go, west side. Pioneers as the Brent section. About 356 versus 166. Akkerman doing his best to close the gap, but he continues to struggle a bit with it. Crusaders going for the arc. And there goes Sticky Bomb off as well. He's blowing out the engine, leaving Theodosios one armour, kind of bit of sticky spots here. And down it goes. 1-2 punch from Akkerman leaves Theodosios armoured carless. He's the Bruce Wayne of light vehicles. Meanwhile, 8 machines from left Akkerman, Vickers being brought up, but still no some additional battle group choices.
A capture
And
point is being
Theodosios
lost.
bringing in the mortar. Nothing there for.
Grenadiers are under fire. Find cover.
Granatwerfer team
And
deployed.
making glass and pack 40 moving in. Mortarman forwards. German forces getting hammered. British forces trying to see around and trying to find the best angle of attack against Theodosios. Honestly, at this point, it might be the east side and not around the west side. Theodosios continues his slow journey here towards the Panther. Trying to snipe the Crusaders behind the hedges, having some success with the right one. Not so much the left one. And far east, we've got another Crusader tank ready for Akkerman. That's it, 9 command points. And there you go, Theodosios, 22-minute mark goes for the Panther. The Panzerkampfwagen 5. Right up to Faserland. Will it be enough to save Theodosios from the current predicament here against Akkerman and the Brits? In 52, 725.
Victory point is
And
under enemy
almost
control.
done. Almost done, Theodosios and thus Vaterland. West side, Crusader coming the Grenadiers, forcing them back there with contemptuous ease. Oh, straight to mine though. Actual mine of Theodosios. Actually, mine's
ready to
also
serve.
thumbs up. But the Panther model is arrived here for Theodosios and the German army. Running across Theodosios here with something a bit heavier there on the firepower scale. There's the Crusader tanks, and same with 3 Crusaders. Could be a bit of a headache. There's that Akkerman could proceed for some change of grounds with the Crusaders and replace them with grants, at which point he might stand a bit of a better chance there. So let's go for the grenades. We've got grenades being chucked. It's certainly part of the name description, but less ideal against 2 Crusader tank, completely wiping them out the west side. Trying to withdraw the tank here, but the Panthers on the prowl. Alongside 2 pack 40s, Theodosios is done playing around here. No more Mr. Nice Hauptmann as he goes for that Crusader tank with his Panther. And almost got the Crusader tank here.
Panzer Company under fire.
Ooh, nice re-hit here. Do some weird pathing choices. Gets the Crusader tank. Meanwhile, southeast though. Akkerman descends here upon Theodosios' base there. Not breaking him. Should be able to take out the Panzer Company, making it difficult to just get out any more Panthers, or for that matter to get any stones to in the first place. Bull right here, Akkerman. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Crucially, though, I'd like to point out the reason this kind of works is he makes sure that, the retreat path here, the exit route, is actually covered by his own units, so it isn't easy for example Theodosios to sort of get up behind the unit and destroy it that way. Like, if he hadn't done that and then Theodosios pushed in, he'd be in a lot of trouble here, so that is, I think, worth pointing out. This is a quick side note. As I do think some players have a bit of a habit of at times forgetting, like,
The enemy remains stubborn.
how to
We
get
are
our
down to
mess that you
300
just sent
points.
units into. So having like an exit plan is typically a good idea if possible. Not that it's always going to be possible, but that's another discussion. Then go with drawing the 50 of the light version of Akkerman. Black Prince there, lightness avenue for him. 86 from the 13. Turn to Westfalen here, 2 German forces attempting to be fully felled here by the German forces, but isn't quite working out fully there for Theodosios. Anti-tanks going to hit on the British Crusader tanks. Getting over close to the Churchill Black Prince here. It's starting to become less and less a matter of if and rather when about that. Prince Nego, Panzer's been ripped apart here. Ralph needs Bren fire. Definitely doing some nice work here to Theodosios. Panzer Grenadier. He's also bringing fresh grenadiers. Obviously can't bring any Star Storm now anyways. The fastest hit, that's going to be a bit tough, I think.
Pioneer infantry killed.
Pioneer's wiped. Another striking blow against Theodosios. Casualty gap, they're almost hitting. Not quite though, but certainly heading towards, like, 1 and 3. That's it, there's a lot more to be done. You'd have to get something around 114, I think. But that said, he's like, 9 casualties away from this. Not exactly looking ideal, at least casualty-wise here for Theodosios. He's got 38, his opponent's almost got 100. Vespers and Singleton here for Theodosios. There's how to work here, closing in on that Black Prince there. Bit more to go for Akkerman. Anti-British Empire. There you go. 26-minute marking calling the Black Prince. He just needs to press the button. There we go. Churchill Black Prince, the armoured unit called of the British Empire.
The enemy breaks before us. They have only 100 points remaining.
There we go. They're striking at the MD-42. You could also suppose call it the mouse of the British Empire. It's definitely, well, actually might have seen service the mouse. Theory like this probably didn't. It's still big, massive, and just
report. The enemy is down to 75 points.
60 or 71. That should not be mistaken by the developers as a suggestion that should include the mouse.
Commandant, we have surplus munitions to spend.
And they're getting into trouble here. The district getting exploded, but there you go. Singleton get right into Ackerman's main column here. German guns and using everything they got against the British forces.
Control of the victory point.
Fortunately for Theodosios, there's nothing else going on, so it becomes range for Akkerman just focusing on his men out there before they get turned into pancakes. Mines head off there. Unfortunately, Theodosios, great for Akkerman. Big push here back from the British Empire. Guns blazing. German forces being routed. Vesper on the scene fires almost directly at the British forces. Trying to rip through here Ackerman's infantry. A hot knife through butter. Section's about to get wiped out there. Vesper's more like a chainsaw through butter at this point. A lot more messy. 260 versus 56. I don't know what that was, but it's certainly gone now. There's anything. Pack 40, gone. Chicken in trouble here. We got 50 to 260.
A machine gun has been destroyed.
This is now and ever, I think, here for both sides. Certainly the odds for Theodosios starting to look a bit more complex. My friends been up to some prepared noting for some reason they decided you can't just fix like any heavy damage now. It also has like almost instantly once the time having war like fix up like roughly a third to half of its health total. I don't know why they thought that was necessary, but it's definitely one of the not so great ideas. Hamper down. There's been deep, so there you go, GG. But yeah. Victory there for the Brits. A loss there for Theodosios. Hope you enjoyed the match. We'll learn something from it. This is Imperial Ancient. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye, everyone.